Some practice today following yesterday.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, playing a lot of games and with very little rest in between, and so we didn't do much. We watched film. We had an extended film session. We walked through some things, and then scripts and stuff, and then just got a lot of shots up. That's all we can do, knowing we're about to play a back-to-back, and then day off, and then another game. So, but it was good.
The moments defensively you saw from in the fourth quarter, I think it was kind of a little familiar theme after Miami. I think even Toronto, where guys are talking about kind of flipping the switch and getting that sense of urgency. How hard is that sense of urgency to sustain for you guys?
Well, you're not going to be able to sustain it for 48 minutes because other teams, no matter what their record is or what people think we should do in terms of winning or beating them or losing against them, but they're in the NBA, so they're good, and they're going to do some things to get you on your heels throughout the course of the game. And I thought what we did throughout most of the game was good enough to win the game. Offensively, I got to help them a little bit more, and that's some of the things that we covered today. Excuse me. We haven't faced a team that switches 1 through 5 yet this season, and it was the first team, and so we had to put some counters in that we've had in the past that we hadn't gotten to yet. And we faced a team that switched 1 through 4 a little bit. Most teams won't switch 1 through 5 with Domas on the floor, but we put some actions in to where I can help them a little bit better from the sidelines. But like I said, defensively, it was good enough to win the game.
Does that mean more like drawing up plays out of timeouts and stuff, or you mean just within the same flow?
No, it's just within the flow to help them. And I don't know if you remember when I threw Kevin in for Alex and drew up a play, and Fox got a layup off of it. So we don't want to have to draw up a play every single time down the floor, have 30 different plays to attack this. We want to be able to play similarly in terms of spacing and all that the way we do when teams are guarding us traditionally, but to have a little bit more emphasis on the counters that can apply when teams switch 1 through 5. And they may do it some against our second unit from time to time.
Coach, what's been like the emphasis with the second unit and trying to get them to kind of gain some rhythm?
It's tough because I mix the starters with some second unit guys, and so we have a couple of different lineups. But the one thing is we want to make sure that our staples are there. We're playing fast, our spacing's there, we're touching the paint, spraying the basketball. I thought there were a lot of instances last night where I think we were 3 for 26 from the 3-point line, and Keegan was 0 for 6, Kevin was 0 for 3. I'm not sure what Malik was, but I'd rather Kevin go 0 for 7, and I want Keegan to go 0 for 10. We hesitated and or passed up a lot of threes throughout the course of the game, and because I know we're a way better shooting team than what we did last night. And if we let them fly, they're going to eventually go in, and if we play defense the way we did, it's going to create a lot of wins. And so we want our second unit to play like our identity. Play fast with great floor spacing, touch the paint, think spray threes, crash. Last night was one of our worst crash games, if not, no, it was the worst crash game of the year so far. We only played 9 games, but we did not crash. We had 2 guys that crashed, Sabonis and Keegan. But all our staples applied to our second unit, just like the first.
When you have kind of team-wide shooting struggles to start the season, how do you make sure it doesn't get in guys' heads a little bit? Maybe if they hesitate or maybe just slump shoulders.
Well, if it gets bad enough, I'm gonna have to start taking guys out for not shooting.
Yeah.
I don't know too many guys that do that, but I don't care if you don't think you're going to make it. If you're open, let it go. Let it go, because in our league, 80% of the time, if you don't let that thing go, then you're going to get a worse shot against the clock than what you would have had. And then it can be worse, not just for you, but everybody else on the team can feel it. So I'm going to keep telling them to let it fly, and maybe it might get to a point where if they hesitate, I'll just take them out so they can think about it then, instead of on the shot attempt.
When you evaluate, you know, and if you figure maybe 5-10 game increments or anything, is it when you have some of these issues that you're trying to still figure out so early in the season, is there a discipline there waiting for that 10 game mark to really get maybe a true sample size of what it is you guys do and what you want to do to fix it?
That's a great question. No, you know, you got to kind of go with what you have, but not take too much stock in it. You know, I mean, there's, you know, in our world, a lot of people panic, you know, from within and without, and you know, this early in the season, sometimes I say marinate. You got to kind of let it marinate a little bit, but that doesn't mean you don't address what issues in front of you. You know, I just don't think you can be as adamant or demanding, because we're all still in the process of feeling this thing out. And, you know, like I said, you know, you give Clippers a lot of credit. They stymied us with their shifts. Their shifts were great, and we held on to the ball a little too long instead of getting off it and making a simple play. And we didn't let it fly. And then they switched 1 through 5, and that was the first time, like I said, that we faced that. Especially like if Domus is on the floor, we you know, we're excited if teams switch 1 through 5. But to help that second group out, or the guys that weren't on the floor with Domus, we had to put some things in to put them in better position. And so having said that, you know, it's not a thing of where I'm going to overreact because of this or overreact because of that. But I will coach whatever we see in front of us to try to get a little bit better the next time out.
When it comes to that switching, do you feel like it led to you guys sort of mismatch hunting a little bit? And like, you have a lot of good ISO scorers. What's the balance of allowing them to do that, but also getting good looks?
Well, it's tough because the way they shift, because after they switch, they just sit in the gaps. Does that make sense? Yeah. And if you don't attack the next guy and then get off it early enough, and then that guy's got to shoot it, you know, then you're just going to be dancing with the defense just packed in front of you. And so for us to be able to get off of it or spray it, have early sprays instead of late sprays is huge. And that's where your ability to create one-on-one comes into play. It's not necessarily for yourself. It's more so for your teammates than anything else.
What do you see just in the Suns? And I'm kind of curious if, you know, going through a experience like the Clippers help prepare you a little bit for what awaits you in Phoenix.
You know, Phoenix, they last year, now it's a new coach, but they, you know, we got a big, and then they went small on us and switched. And the first time we didn't handle it well. The second time we did a pretty good job, and so you know, we'll be knock on wood, we'll be better prepared if they do switch, especially if they switch with Domus out on the floor. But we'll be better prepared against those guys in that situation, because we've experienced it, and we went through some adversity with it last night, and you know, other than that, we're just gonna play how we play. We're gonna play fast, and we're gonna let that thing fly tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah.
And the floor is going to be spaced correctly. We're going to crash like we're supposed to, and hopefully try to get a win.
With KD, you obviously know him quite well. Just thinking about what he's been through with the ruptured Achilles and coming back, what is it about maybe his approach that has allowed him to be this effective this late in his career, especially after an injury like that?
You know, this doesn't get talked about enough, but KD is a worker. You know, I used to say this about LeBron. A lot of people just thought LeBron used to go in a telephone booth and come out, you know, I'm LeBron James. The work that those guys put in behind the scene, it's incredible. And it's not just kind of going through the motion work. Like, they work hard. They work hard at their games behind the scenes. in the off season, and it has carryover. So at KD's size, with all the injuries that he's had, it doesn't surprise me that he's balling the way he is because of his work ethic more than anything else, his approach more than anything else, and that goes ditto with LeBron as well.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks,
Thanks,
Coach.
man.